whatever views you want to get in on the games that you followed. Okay, we'll now move on to the wrap-up of the show, and I have a heavy fear that neither of us have done a quiz.
Oh, well, you might be surprised. Maybe.
Excellent.
Right, so now it's time to wrap up the show, and let's have a hastily gathered SLP quiz. So, peeling back the curtain, Mark asked me to put a quiz together, but I was too asleep this morning, and I've only really picked it up about an hour before recording, so it's a bit hastily put together, but we'll see how we get along. So this is linked to the 1895 Cup Final and second games at Wembley, or second kind of finals at Wembley. And it's linked to the last time we had a second game, which was the Challenge Cup plate. If you remember the Challenge Cup plate at all?
I'm aware of its existence.
It's so long ago,
It
was called the silk cut plate, so it was when you could still have fag advertising. That's how long ago it was. So my first question, realising this might be slightly tricky questions, do you remember what year it was? It was a 1 year. It was a 1 year deal. It only happened once. Any idea? 1 year deal. I'll give you 2 years either way on this one.
I am going to go with 1997.
Bang on. It was 1997. There you go.
Well,
Very
that was a good guess.
That was a good guess. Well done. Didn't even need the leeway I was giving you. No. Follow-up question.
Who was it? No idea.
Yeah, I was going to say it. Come on then. Who competed in that final? Either of the two teams will do.
I've got absolutely no idea.
So bear in mind, this was obviously not. This was not a team for the Premier. Much like the 1895 Cup, it wasn't a team for the Premier teams of the time. So you're looking beyond the Super League of '97. Any idea about who that might be?
So who were the strongest teams?
Who were the stronger teams?
Super League.
Outside of
Super League, stronger teams
in '97.
I have a feeling that was the year before Wakefield and Hull FC were back in the Super League. So I'm thinking of those guys. It'll be a time where Oldham and Workington maybe have just fallen out of Super League. Maybe they were still in it. I have a weird feeling that one of the teams no longer exists anymore, and I don't know why that's nagging at me. I'm after much procrastination
and delay.
I'm going to say that one of the two teams was.
Really giving people a chance to have a think about it. Go on.
Workington.
Oh, unlucky. No. The two teams that competed in that final were Hull KR and Hunslet Hawks. So maybe it's the Hunslet Hawks thing that you kind of think, well, maybe kind of come back and no longer call themselves the Hawks and blah blah blah. And the final question, 50-50 shot. Who won?
Hunslet.
It was Hull KR. Hull KR won 60-14. So this whole thing about not since 85, that's bollocks, isn't it? Because they won in 97. They won it 60 points to 14. So there you go.
Excellent. Well done to them.
Well done. So the one. Hopefully the 1895 Cup is not a 1 year deal, and they actually they do a slightly better job in terms of scheduling and planning it next year, because I do think it has value. I really do.
Do you think that the fans that were there enjoyed it? I think they did.
Yeah, I think it was for Widnes, it was a big thing in terms of the kind of renaissance and bringing the club back.
We've survived and we're at Wembley. It's
big
amazing.
Thing. Much like at the Summer Bash, Sheffield fans, there might not be masses of them, but they are noisy and they celebrate their team. They really enjoyed it. I could hear them. I was on the other side of the stadium and I could hear every chant that they were making. So yeah, for me, it has value without question. If you think about it, Sheffield are one of the smaller supported Championship teams. If a team that's got a bit more support kind of gets there next year, then you might have a slightly more fans there. For me, it has a value, but I think the scheduling is really important. I'd like to see non-Heartland teams invited and being able to compete in it, particularly if the league next year League One is going to be 11 teams, not 12, which we believe is the case. Yeah. So I'd like all of the League One teams to be able to take part, if possible. And if we need to do a bit of fixture jiggery pokery to make that happen, then let's do it, because I think it is a good competition and we should keep it.
Good stuff. Right. Have you got any recommendations for us then, maybe from your trip to London or otherwise?
Brutalist architecture. Just go to fucking Wembley. Stop moaning and just go. That's my recommendation.
I wasn't moaning. I wanted to go. I just had to compromise.
It wasn't a personal attack. No, just generally speaking, do whatever you can to go, because it is a wonderful experience, and it's it is our, as I think I said in response to somebody on Twitter, it is our exposure. We had a very prominent member of the royal family there on Saturday. Very well known for his other exploits as well. So yeah, it is our show. It's our showpiece. It's our day in the sun, literally and figuratively. So it would really help if we could get a stadium full of people there. That would be really great. So that's my plea. That's my recommendation. Go to Wembley.
Excellent stuff. I can't remember if I've recommended these things before. This first thing that I'm going to recommend, but at the moment we're negotiating in my house. I'm kind of on a suspended sentence, let's say, a partial ban from buying Morrison's barbecue pulled pork ridged crisps, chipotle smoked barbecue, chipotle barbecue ridged crisps is in the title anyway. Pulled pork as well is in the title. They're just fantastic. They're so tasty. I want them all the time, and I'm in trouble for wanting them as much as I'm wanting them. And then the other thing that I recommend, we watched the first couple of episodes of the new Sky One sort of comedy drama kind of, I guess, shameless genre of show, which is Brassic. And we weren't going to watch it because Emma didn't want to watch it because Michelle Keegan's in it, and Michelle Keegan's very fit, and so Emma doesn't like me watching things when people are in it that are very fit. But we watched it, and we watched the first two episodes on Friday night, I think. We enjoyed them. It was very good. So we'll enjoy the remainder of that series, I think, 'cause it was entertaining. It was fun to watch. So there's my recommendations.
I think it's really interesting in your recommendations. There's two pieces of Emma's reproach in those things. it's clear who clearly wears the trousers in that household.
At the moment, I'm certainly in a fight for credibility.
And this is why you're wanting to make the most of the fact that you didn't go to Wembley, and you've got to make sure that that's remembered and recalled.
To be aware, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to. It's really important.
Yeah, because when the conversation comes around the night before the grand final, when she's, "Why are you going to St Helens?" I'll say, "Well, because I'm going to watch the women's grand final." Anyway, it's me and you again next week.
It is.
So that's exciting. Make sure everyone gets in their views on all those Super League games, because we know it's difficult around the summer times, but everyone should be back now because kids go back to school next week.
Yeah, well,
So get
week
your fan
after, but
views in.
get. Summer's over now. Get over it.
Especially Dom Hodgson needs to get his fan reviews in, because I literally reminded him 4 times this weekend, and he every time said, "Oh yeah," and then no. so
not so hidden alerts.
Yeah. Exactly. Do you want to? So people can find the show at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is where you'll find those what they called links to where you can give the fan views on the matches. Instagram is where you'll find Alan's video picture diary from Wembley. Facebook.com/Super League Pod is where you can find us on Facebook as well. superleaguepod@gmail.com if you want to send us an email. superleaguepod.com if you want to get all of this detail written down, basically, is kind of what you go to there for. Search for the show on Spreaker, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Leadcast Android app. I think that still exists. Podcast Addict, that definitely does still exist. Stitcher, rugbyleaguemedia.com, and YouTube, and Google Podcasts. Loads of places to listen to the show if wherever you've found us this time isn't the most convenient place for you. Do you want to tell us about our partner sponsors, Alan?
I will. Just before I do that, I'm halfway through writing a blog about my Challenge Cup exploits this year.
Ooh, exciting!
So that it was kind of formed partly on the train on the way home. So yeah, that'll be hopefully up this week. But yes, in terms of our partner sponsors, Rob's Toy Shop, enter SLP discount on checkout at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay and get 5% cash back on orders over £5, and you give 1% cash back to SLP. Little Warden, monitoring the tedious. Head to littlewarden.com and see what they can do for you. Just don't rely on them for match reviews. Mascot Browns, for all your international rugby league gear. Use the link in the episode blog post and we'll get 8% of your order value to help with our running costs. And Sarah's bookcase. Sarah sells Usborne books with access to over 3,000 titles from babies to teenagers. There's something for everyone, and you can find out more on the Facebook.
Yeah, and you can also make a donation to support SLP if you like. PayPal.me/SuperLeaguePod. All donations are hugely appreciated, large or small. If you donate £20 or more, you can pick up an SLP beanie hat. A big thank you this week to reigning Listener of the Year, Paul Chamberlain, who made a donation this week. That's very well appreciated for certain from you, Paul, so thank you as ever. A shout out quickly for Sarah, because normally around Challenge Cup final weekend it means it's Sarah's birthday. I'm not sure what day it's on, I can't remember, but it'll be Sarah's birthday at some point this week, so happy birthday to Sarah.
Happy birthday or belated birthday, whichever
way around it is. Yeah
that's fine.
Does it say it on Facebook?
You're asking somebody who doesn't do Facebook that question, and that's a silly thing to do.
Wednesday. Happy birthday to Sarah on Wednesday. So please do send in your happy birthday messages on Twitter or Facebook for Sarah's birthday on Wednesday. And yeah, that's it for a longer than expected edition of the Super League Pod.
There was a lot to talk about in that final.
Well, it's a final. We want to give it full coverage, all the ins and outs of all the little decisions and all the players that impressed us, you know. Normally we try and pick out 2 or 3 star players, but in a final you need to talk about everyone's performance, don't you?
Yeah, no, it's important that it gets the recognition that it's our big showpiece and it deserves the attention that we give it.
Excellent stuff. Right, okay, that is this episode of Super League Pod in the bag, though. Please do interact with us as much as you are able to. Get all your fan reviews in on the news and the games, because that's what we live off on this show. And until next time, we will say goodbye from your favourite rugby league podcast, the Super League Pod.
Bye.